Hello everyone, welcome back to another stream on the channel. Do let me know if you can see and hear me alright. I'm going to actually disconnect my phone because I think it's coming through the wrong mic. Oh, I can hear myself. Anyway, like I was saying, it's great to be back and have the midweek deadlines here. Let's have a quick look who we have in chat. I hope we're all well though. Again, like I was saying, this is going to be an interesting game week. We're going to start getting some heavy rotation, in my opinion, from a lot of teams. To be honest, I think there are not many teams in the league other than Bournemouth and United where we're going to see rotation. But anyway, do say hello in chat. I hope we're all well. Let me quickly update the timeline and let you guys show yourselves. Do show yourself and say hello. It's great to have you all in chat so early in the week. It is unusual that we have a Tuesday deadline, but to be honest, I'm really enjoying it and I'm looking forward to it because usually you have to wait until the weekend, and I actually do really enjoy these deadline streams. So come Friday, I'm like, okay, we get to stream tomorrow early in the morning, but now it's on a Tuesday at 4 o'clock, so I've had and done my working day. So I just finished work. I start work from 8 to 4 and I've come and we're sitting here for 2 hours doing the stream. So it's a great hobby because I didn't have to go far. I work from home anyway, so quite handy. But great to see you all. Who do we have in here though? We have Mr. Zebi, Aryan, Tot, to be on a stream midday. What a commitment. Yeah, absolutely. Jamie, Reese, JC, Clive, Aryan. I hope we're all well, lads. Anyway, let's get in to the juice, will we? So my team for game week 14. First off, let's quickly touch on game week 13. Again, I'm not going to hold you on this too much because it is quite boring, but we are currently 130k overall. I have to say, at this current point in the season, I'm very, very happy. I think when I look back to, particularly last season, it wasn't very good at this point. And 2 or 3 seasons ago, we were currently, I believe, top 100. But those were the days anyway. Let's not reminisce too far back. But yeah, currently 133k in the world. Again, this is the largest player base we've seen so far in FPL. Last week we got 50 points. And in a game week where so many people free hit, I think, a small bit disappointing in the grand scheme of things because so many people done so well. But if I can look past that and just look at it for how I did, considering I didn't play a chip, very happy. There are a few players. This, by the way, this button won't click to get rid of this little tag here. So annoying. Sorry. But the transfers I made, O'Reilly, Thiago, and Szoboszlai, very good overall. I'm quite happy. Bruno Fernandes coming up with the goods. Mo Salah, a player that didn't feature, which I was disappointed with because, again, it was the 1 week a lot of people free hitted him in. And I was thinking, you won't be surprised to see the free hitters come up with a Salah return, even though I'm after holding on to him. Anyway, let me pop out the chat. Sorry, I know I'm going back and forth, but just so I can see what you guys are saying. But yeah, I was happy with the week overall, and not many complaints other than the injuries and Nick Pope not featuring. Also, of course, Sarr, which is gonna be a player that I need to replace. But if we look at my game week 14 team, let's pull it up real quick. Here it is. On goal, we've got Nick Pope. We got a forward to back in Richards, Timber, Anderson, and O'Reilly. 4 in midfield with Bruno, Anderson, Salah with the captaincy armband, which I'm going to touch on. There'll be lots of questions about it. Dominic Szoboszlai, 2 up top in Erling Haaland and Thiago. Now, I'm going to place Sarr this stream. Who is the question? I'm sure you guys are in the same boat as me. This little tag is annoying me, so I'm actually going to try open that in a new tab and get that fixed because it's actually really frustrating. Give me 2 seconds, guys. Fantasy Premier League. Pick team. Why is it doing that? It's actually infuriating. It's telling me to log in and then I log in and then it doesn't get rid of it. Sorry guys, 2 seconds. It's actually it is worth getting rid of, trust me. There you go. Okay, now can I open fantasy? Bear with me, guys. I'm sorry. Okay, finally we're set, and it hasn't gone away. Maybe this is not just an issue on my end. Anyway, getting back to the team before I freak out with that. I think that looks okay now. I'm happy with my team. I'm a bit frustrated. Now, the reason I'm quite frustrated is the likes of Pope obviously is not going to play. Good morning, Shaq. Pope is obviously not going to play, so Dubravka obviously starts for me. Now, I'm going to play that, of course. Sarr is not going to play, so for now, Thiago is in. I think there is a good chance that Richards misses out. I think when you've seen what Ole Glasner has done with the midweek games, he puts in Canva for Richards. And I don't think we're going to see much different. I'd be very surprised if Richards does start this game. O'Reilly has the odd chance of being benched. Again, playing on the weekend and also playing today, which is the first game for today. Inspect the window and get rid of it. I like that. Yeah, that's a good idea. I'm a computer science person. Why don't I know? Why didn't I think of that? Let me try find it. I spend my time making websites for my company, and I didn't think of doing that. I just don't know which one it is. Never mind. Anyway, it will do for now. You can't see it. I'm able to put it up just like that, so you just can't see it. Anyway, O'Reilly, he has a chance of missing this game. I say a chance, like in my mind it's like 25%. Richards, I would say, is 50-50. Timber, I would say, has a 10% chance of missing this game. Anderson has the worst fixture of the week with City. So the back line is not looking good. Not looking good at all. 4 in midfield with Bruno. Okay, Bruno, 90-minute man. No worries there. Great fixture. Anderson, the same. 90-minute man. Wolves away. Salah, who's off the back of a benching. I mean, I have to think about it, but I don't think I have too many worries. And I'm going to talk about captaincy in a second. Szoboszlai, again, I'm fairly confident he'll be starting. Again, just with the likes of Jones playing or not playing, I do wonder, is there going to be a time when Szoboszlai gets a rest? I don't think it'd be Sunderland, though. Again, he's one of their best performing players this season so far. Hello, Davis. Good to see you. Good afternoon. Great to see you all in chat. Let me raise a question before I continue talking about my team. How many are watching either in work or after work, or are yet to work today? Let me know. And if you're jobless, do also let me know. Let me do a poll. Did you just finish work? Yes, no, I'm jobless. Anyway, Dominic Szoboszlai, no worries really there. Haaland again, you'd expect 90 minutes here easily. And Thiago, I will not be starting. So, I mean, it is an interesting team. I think it's very different to what you're going to see a lot of other people do this game week. I think a lot of people have Semenyo, issues to deal with Senesi. They also have problems with Sarr. You're not going to see any Salahs at all. So let's talk about captaincy. After work, currently at work. I'm in India, fair enough. I left work to catch the streams. Chicken's on his day off. Good evening, Red Devil. Good to see you. Anyway, I'll get to your questions in just a second. I just want to talk a bit more about my own team. On the captaincy, lads. I understand if no one is going to think about Salah, even if you do own him. Secondly, if you don't own him, you probably think I look like an idiot. I'm at the point where I think this goes for many managers. If you still have Salah and he plays against Sunderland at home after back of a rest, I think anyone would put the captaincy armband on him. Like, if I spawn Salah into your team now, I think you'd be tempted. That doesn't mean he's the best one, but it comes down to projections for me. I kind of back it against my current thought process. I penciled in weeks ago that I wanted to captain Salah with the fixture. My mind has not changed, even though I've seen a rest last game week. And what I really liked was the quotes from Arne Slot. He was saying with a 3-day turnaround, Salah is one of our best players of all time. Even players like Salah have to get rested. He was superhuman last season, and I have no doubt he'll be an important player for us before he goes to AFCON, and we're going to try hold on to him until after Brighton, game week 16. I mean, these are good quotes for me, and it doesn't sound like he's going to be benched this game week. I did say it was important on what Arne Slot was going to say. So, by that, I'm more than happy, to chance the armband, first off. Secondly, the projections for this game week. Let's take a look. So, here are the market projections for game week 14. Again, Rob T sorting out these graphics on a weekly basis. And stick with me for a second. I will get to your best Sarr replacements, etc, etc. But looking at the projected points this week, I think particularly for the top 10, it's quite close. We got Erling Haaland, Mo Salah, Jean-Philippe Mateta, Alexander Isak, Voldemade, Ekitike, Mbeumo, Gyökeres, Saka, Kuna for the top 10. Usually, Erling Haaland is sitting at 1+ goals. And Salah is usually further down. It's actually interesting to see how close it is this game week. And I'm surprised by it. Now, I know it is a home fixture. Maybe there shouldn't be too much surprises. But, with Liverpool's home form currently, why is Semenyo so low? So if we look at Semenyo on the right side here, that is a good question. And if I'm being honest, I actually don't have the answer to it. If I'm thinking now, a lot of the players in this left column have some of the best fixtures in the league. Fulham, Sunderland, Burnley, Sunderland, Tottenham, Sunderland, West Ham, Brentford, West Ham, Tottenham, Leeds, Villa, Burnley, West Ham. And then you look at Semenyo, who plays Everton. I don't think Everton are particularly, a poor defence. So I would say that's why. I think, David Moyes going away to Bournemouth, he's going to be quite pragmatic. I know they just conceded a few, but that would be my thought process on why Semenyo is quite low. And also, like Lars is saying, losing some pen share with the likes of Tavernier coming in and taking a penalty last game round. So you'd like to think that, with some of the penalty takers here, they take up a lot of the spaces. Elsewhere on the list, again, I know I'm talking about captaincy, but Tottenham in quotations. But looking at it, it is close. The markets think it's close. I think it's going to be close. There's going to be people going to Bruno Fernandes, 0.41, which is actually much higher than I would have thought. And that's why he's such a good captaincy this game week, and probably outshines him on any predicted model for expected points, because all the routes to points, again, midfielders getting the extra point, him on corners, free kicks, penalties, DEFCON, you name it. I don't think this will be a great game for Bruno to get DEFCON, but still, for the fact that he can get it, and we're unsure on the exact role he'll pick up in this game, with Kuna potentially coming back into the team, definitely a good option. Other than that, you have the likes of a Saka. Saka sitting at 0.47. I'm interested to know what you guys would have for his minutes. This doesn't assume 90 minutes, but it does assume a start. So I wonder what Rob T's model has Saka at currently. If you're asking me, I want to say about 0.7-ish, 0.75, somewhere in between there. Now let me see if he has. He does. He just released it 13 minutes ago. Projected points model. So this is interesting that there are, what's that, a 0.3 gap in between Bruno, Haaland, Saka and Salah. There is very, very little in between it. And I do wonder, would Salah, if he was presumed 90 minutes, be a small bit higher on the list? Again, because Bruno and Haaland are so good for the minutes. They're going to be very, very high on this list. And I just wonder, if you assume Salah at 90, does he trump him? For me, he probably does. What's kind of crazy for me is Daniel Munoz and Lacroix are at 5 points expected this game week. Again, not that I'll be picking my players off this graphic, but very, very high. And good to see you, Richard. He says he's been waiting for the stream. Liverpool are conceding Sunderland. That's fine for me if Liverpool want to concede as long as Salah gets something. Elsewhere on the list, though, we've got Cody Gakpo, Virgil van Dijk, Dominic Szoboszlai, 5, 4.8, and 4.7 respectively. And underneath Szoboszlai, Amad Diallo, which is really, really high and favoured by the models this game week. Again, not that I'd be speaking about models too much on stream, but for anyone who's unfamiliar, the models, they really like Amad this game week. I think it is because how strong United's attack is, personally. And Davis has retracted a message. I don't know what he means by that. But yeah, the minute's definitely a big, big factor. So that's my little piece on the captaincy. Again, I don't know if I've given you enough to try sell you Salah. Ultimately, that's not what I'm trying to do. To be honest, I don't mind if you don't fancy Salah because I get it. I completely get it. But when you have 4 options so close on the projected points, and I'm hopeful on Salah's minutes, then I'm going to pick the most differential one. It's really that easy. And who knows? Liverpool might get a jammy penalty. It might be what it swings this game week. So there's going to be very little in this game week, I imagine. And who knows? It could be a big swing for the little piece that's in it. But let's hope it goes my way. And that's what we're hoping for on a week-to-week basis, lads. Anyway, let's get to answering some of your questions. I think this is a good one from Clive. He said, would you captain Brian Mbeumo? To answer that, I have to go, would I captain him over a Haaland? No, I wouldn't. Would I captain him over Bruno? No, I wouldn't. And nor Salah. I think Saka, potentially. If I only had Mbeumo and Saka, I'd be considering it a small bit more. Again, due to minutes, really. United only having that one game a week, whereas, Saka will be competing in Europe, of course. Tony Fungus says, would you go Reinders to maybe a Mount or an Ahmed? To answer that, Tony Fungus, I actually think Reinders has a good chance of starting this game. He's getting shots in and around the box. But yeah, I would sell him to Ahmed. I definitely would sell him to Ahmed if it was me. Amy says, captain and defender. Yeah, you know what? Lacroix is not a bad captaincy shout. Because, his DEFCON. I just wonder, is there going to be some early rotation for that Palace team? They look absolutely bet, in my opinion. Why is Thiago the most transferred in this game week? Great question. To be honest, I don't know. That's usually how the FPL community works. Whoever gets the biggest haul in the last game week gets the most bought. Senesi to Munoz or Lacroix? Munoz on 4 yellows and Lacroix enables Welbeck to Volamatic for me. What do you think, Cha? I would go to Lacroix in that scenario. I think Munoz is great, but like you said, I just feel like with the 4 yellow cards, the price point, and Volamatic I do quite like, so I would do Lacroix for sure. Pope replacement with free transfers. Again, I think if you're looking for a goalkeeper, and you're looking for particularly this game week and later down the line, of course, I fancy Alisson. Again, it's just a price point if you like it or not. I don't mind an Alisson at all. Other than that, if you're looking for cheaper, I would go for Bergen, I think. That is just me though. Raya Donnarumma over Bergen. I have an Arsenal defender as well. In recent weeks, I wouldn't have been hot on Raya, I'll be honest, because of Timber, Gabriel, Calafiori, and also Saliba. But now, when you have the 2 centre-halves being out, and it looks like Jerry and Timber, you probably wouldn't pick a Calafiori, a Hincapi, or a Mascara at this point, due to the lads coming back at some point down the line. Therefore, Raya is probably the safest option with rotation and stuff. So there actually is a place for Raya, I think, now. Would I go to him over a Petrovic, over Bergen? Let me bring up some of the other options on the list and we'll discuss. Select replacement. This website, man, honestly. Goalkeepers. Anyway, let's look at some of the replacements. So, the highest scoring goalkeeper in the game is Roofs, which is, a bit mental, but it's just how good Sunderland have been in certain games, and Roofs has been a shot stopping. I'm going differential captain. I gotta roll the dice and try FPL Jinx, who has made some drunken transfers this game week. Let me know what your captain is for this game week, Anto. Anyway, looking at the list though, you know, you can't predict 4.5s in my opinion. You know, you're going to see a lot of 4.5s come good and bad in specific periods and blocks of fixtures. And Roofs has just done it in this first 13 game weeks. That's not to say it can't happen or it's going to continue happening for Roofs. You know, next it could be Petrovic, it could be Verbergen, it could be Kelleher for all we know. I know you're not going to like this. I just wonder, is there a place, maybe not yet, but for Alphonse Areola? Again, 4.3 million. I don't think West Ham have been, you know, as brutal as I thought they would be. They still are one of the worst teams in the league, but at 4.3 million and a Nuno team who's going, the keeper is going to make save points. And if they do go and keep a clean sheet, he's going to be on for a haul. I just wonder, will he be in my mind at some point? But for me, I think it is Verbergen. Again, 4.4 million. And it's just the fixtures. If I quickly go to his fixtures. Some people in chat spamming no. Again, I understand if it's not for you. But the fixtures for Verbergen. Again, Villa at home, West Ham at home, Liverpool away, Sunderland at home, Arsenal away. Oh, hell no. And then he goes on a run of games with West Ham and Burnley. So Verbergen would be the pick out of the bunch for me. I don't think Petrovic is bad. Good to see you, George. Hello. Tiny Fungus says, I actually... Sorry, Anto, I apologise. And Duca, thank you for subscribing. I actually have Reinders on the bench right now and have Enjoy starting over him. I could go Enjoy to Gakpo. Enjoy to Gakpo is a good move, but I would just hold on to Enjoy. Enjoy is actually quite good. For the next 3 game weeks until he goes off to AFCON, especially if he's going off in game week 16. Who are you going for in goalkeeper? So I actually don't plan on making a goalkeeper move this game week. The reason being for that, again, if I look at my current team, Nick Pope has oh, it actually disappeared, thank God. Nick Pope has got to go. Don't get me wrong, he's out for 3 or 4 weeks. But it is not worth, with only one free transfer, me doing a goalkeeper move rather than Sarr. The upside from my potential Sarr replacement is going to be higher than Thiago and a goalkeeper replacement this game week. So I prefer making the move in midfield. And on that note, let's talk about some Sarr replacements. So if we go to... I'm going to firstly assume... Let's go from the 8.4 bracket. The reason being, you know, let's assume some people have 2 free transfers, and we'll go from there. So, first off, the best replacement, if you don't own him like myself, is definitely Antoine Semenyo. I think if I could get to him in one transfer, I would, but I can't. He's definitely the best replacement. Again, he got away with murder last game week, not getting those assists with Evan Nilsson blocking the goals for him. For me, the second best replacement, if you have the money, probably is Cody Gakpo. Again, he's, you know, a player on form. Maybe you could disagree whether or not he's on form or not, but I always feel like Gakpo is going to come away with goals and assists, and getting a piece of that Liverpool attack is always great. Let me actually filter this by price rather than total points. If we look a small bit lower down, then you have the likes of a Neto. Now, I think Neto is extremely underrated. By the way, I'd never updated my rank. Let me actually do that, because it is deceiving. I'm currently 128k in the world, I believe. So I'll get that updated real quick. But we also have... let me speak a small bit more on Gordon. I think Gordon is... not Gordon, sorry, Neto. His minutes this season have looked so good. And he's actually starting to get goals and assists. Now, at the start of the season, I would have never said he would have been a player who's consistently going to get goals and assists. But I think if he's going to continually play in this attack for Chelsea, who look phenomenal, to be honest. I mean, that they played unbelievable against Arsenal. I was quite pleasantly surprised. There you go, lads. The rank is updated. We're currently 133k overall, which I'm very happy with. Anyway, Chelsea, they look great, and if you can guarantee me a starter, called Neto, I'd be tempted. Now, the one thing I would say about him, and Davis would agree with me in chat, Cole Palmer coming back into the team. Maybe that means Enzo's going to drop back a bit further and less times for one of the lap or Pedro. But it would definitely be on my mind. FPL Chicken says, Chai talks about bringing in Semenyo. I just bin them off. It seems to be a common theme this season where I bring in players that a lot of people don't. Like, for example, if we look at some of... For anyone who's just joined us, again, I'm not your normal FPL manager. If I look at my season so far, again, I know it's not relevant now, but just look at the way I've played the season so far. This will be a nice little recap as we're edging towards the second half of the season. Firstly, started off the season with no Salah. Everyone had Salah. I brought in Haaland at the start of the season, captained him, great start. Mohamed Kudus, very underrated for me as well, and no complaints. Game week 2, what did I do? I actually can't remember. I actually think I rolled my first few transfers. Yeah, I did. Game week 3, I made 2 moves. I brought in Mbeumo and Rodgers. Mbeumo straight away with a double-digit haul versus Burnley. Captain Fernandes against Chelsea at home. I have to say, I was absolutely buzzing with that. And at this point in the season, we are figuring out, okay, what's going on with Nuno's first. I have Cody Gakpo. What's the story? How is the minutes looking with Ekitike? People still yes to go on to Erling Haaland. It was until game week 4, I think it was, then I free hit. I free hit in 4 where not a lot of people done it. Again, I gained 45 points on the team I free hit from, so I was delighted with that. Brought in Voldemade, who was new to the season, and doubled up with Salah and Haaland, and then Haaland blew it out of the park, of course. But delighted with that team once again. Game week 5, again, I'm sorry if I'm boring you with a season recap, but I'm just trying to show how I played the season so far. And by the way, I was wrong about that. It was game week 5 which I captained Bruno against Chelsea. I captained him twice so far this season. A goal from Nico Williams, and this was also the game week I brought in Matty Cash and he scored for me. So a phenomenal game week, and I also made a decision of playing Dubravka over Sanchez, which was a 7-point swing, which is absolutely ridiculous. So very happy with these little ways I've currently managed the season so far. In game week 6, it didn't look as good. Bruno -1, but I did captain Haaland with the triple captaincy, and he got a massive 48-point haul. I would have had a generational stinker otherwise. He was one of 2 players that returned for me in game week 6. Game week 7 was the week that Semenyo absolutely smashed it, and Mohamed Kudus saved my arse. In game week 8, nothing too interesting. Anyway, what I was getting at is, game week 8 is the week I wildcarded. This is what I was getting with. I've not owned so many players that a lot of people have. Game week 6 and 8 were 2 really popular game weeks to wildcard. Everyone had Senesi and Semenyo. And I decided to opt against it. Now, it didn't go my way with the likes of Sarr and Eze, who I did go for instead. Saying that Eze got an 11-pointer the week after. But I've been managing the season with a lot of players that people are overhyping, in my opinion, and finding value elsewhere. And now it looks like people are trying to bring in the likes of a Jurriën Timber, and the likes of an Anderson, Bruno Fernandes. It's not bad, and O'Reilly also getting a price rise. I don't think this would be a green arrow for me this game week, though, if I'm being deadly honest. And the reason I think that is I just think there'll be a lot of rotation in my current team. I really don't like it in terms of rotation. Kenny's asking, how's my day gone so far? Great. I've worked 8 to 4 and gone straight into my stream. So very, very happy with the day. I love being productive, for sure. What was I saying? Yeah, I wonder, are we going to get any team leaks before the deadline? Let me quickly talk over this graphic, because I think looking at some of the matchups this week is going to be interesting. And I'd be interested to see what you guys think about some of the scores. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. looking at the projections, leading the line for goals this week, and it's another reason why I'm convinced on Salah. So to conclude the story, FPL Chicken says Choi's been a lucky bugger. The Matty Cash transfer was the final straw. Yeah, I've been fairly jammy, I can't lie, but I could have been jammier in my opinion. Am I taking a -4 this week? No. Liverpool leading the line, and great clean sheet odds for Liverpool as well. That's why I've been so high on Van Dijk. I knew it was going to come to this, where I spoke about on Scout how I thought he'd outscore some of the Arsenal defenders, and he's only gone and done it so far. It's because he is DEFCON, and DEFCON is just so powerful. I still don't think, we've looked at when a player has good DEFCON numbers and also good fixtures. I mean, then they become broken and no-brainers, and I just think that's what Virgil van Dijk is for me. Regardless of how poor Liverpool are as a defence, if he's going to get a 4-pointer and decent goal threat every single week, no complaints. Maximilian says, good luck, Choi. I got a dip. Come on, you Spurs. Best of luck, Maximilian. And come on, you Spurs. I'm not looking forward to this game today. Again, we'll get onto that game in just a second, how we feel. Choi has more jam than a baker's pantry. Brilliant. Anyway, moving on from the Liverpool game. United second, 2.25, which is unbelievably high. And it's why we are doubled up currently on the likes of a Brian Mbeumo. And a Bruno Fernandes. These are players that I think everyone is going to want long term, especially when you consider the likes of Bruno, of course, is not going to AFCON. He might be in our teams for the remainder of the season. Next is Arsenal, of course, but their goal share is split very broadly. It's either centre half scoring, midfielders, and it could be anyone. Even Saka, I wouldn't consider gobbling up a lot of the GA, but you still would expect if if they score, he's going to be involved one way or another due to a penalty, free kick, or an assist. But he's not exactly been astonishing from that point of view, in my opinion. That could change. Again, the fixtures for Arsenal are getting quite good very soon. They're after going through that tough spell, but for me, because of the minutes, I just worry about the minutes, and again, it's something I could be wrong about. That could be a good play. If you think Saka's minutes are going to be higher than they normally are, I feel like Saka's one of the best options in the game, without a doubt. Next, moving on from that, we'll take Man City again. A lot of people will probably default to Haaland captain. I want to say he's going to be 160%. I would still say 160%, and I think that brings us on to a captaincy poll now. Good to see, what is that, 40% of you just finished work, 25% said no, and 34% of you said you're jobless. That is brilliant. Anyway, on City, I feel like Phil Foden will start this game. Sarr to Foden or Gakpo, and this leads us to Foden or Gakpo. I don't think there's much in this, and the reason is I think they're both going to get similar minutes. I think I would prefer Gakpo due to the fixtures. City's fixtures are a small bit tougher, I want to say. Again, two different price points though as well. So with that in consideration, if I think Gakpo is going to start the majority, and when he is starting to get 70 plus, 0.5 million less, I would prefer Gakpo. And he's one that I have owned at the start of the season, and at large parts. So tough decision, and I think it could swing either way, but if I had to choose, it would be Gakpo. Will Tosin start? I cannot tell you who's going to start for Chelsea. I always feel like with the injuries they have and the way Maresca manages the defence, there's no guarantees in any of them, to be honest. So, will Tosin start? I don't know. And should you sell Senesi to Timber, Chalobah or O'Reilly? The answer is Timber for me. There is no comparison between Timber, Chalobah and O'Reilly. Saying that, there is a small chance that Timber does get a small bit of rotation this game week, but yeah, I would still pick Timber regardless. Isn't Mano's on 4 yellow cards? He sure is, but he still is one of the best assets in the game. I feel like you can look past that when you have the likes of, the 4.0s looking so good at getting DEFCON every single week. Do you prefer to buy Lacroix or O'Reilly? Lacroix for sure for me. Again, the DEFCON. To be honest, I don't mind owning O'Reilly. I'm in a position where I own him, so I'm more than happy to. But would I buy him this game week? No. I'd probably wait until game week 15 and see what happens this game week. Again, everything is about timing. Yeah, looking at my back line, I could probably have 3 or 4 rotated in there, which is not ideal. It makes me want to go for Chow in that case. Yeah, I think Chow is really high on my list personally. It's getting dark in here. Let me quickly turn on the light. 1 second. Anyway, like I'm saying though, I hope you can still hear me. Just on Chow, you know, I think regardless of the hole he got last game week, I would have been looking at him. It's more so the fixtures, you know, Tottenham and Burnley, they're great fixtures, of course, and we know that. Derek O'Reilly's top 40k, boasting while I can, looking over my shoulder at the GOAT. Nah, I wouldn't say, I can't be getting GOAT shouts yet, lads. You know what, I would say if I can secure top 10k, I would consider myself a somewhat decent manager. You know, that would be two top 5k finishes, a former number 2 in the world, and a top K finish. I can put that underneath my belt. Then I would call it a day and go, okay, if I retired now, I'd be happy. But yeah, definitely not in the discussion for GOAT debates yet. And great to hear, Derek, that you're having a stormer of a season. Tio or I keep calling him Tio. It's just habit. Chow or Anderson? I assume you mean Elliot Anderson by how you spelled Anderson. This game week, Elliot Anderson for sure. 2 questions. Should I do a -4 hit to take out Mbeumo for Bruno? No. And should I bench Doku or KDH? I would bench KDH. Rhea or Donnarumma? This game week, thank you for subscribing, Pags. Rhea or Donnarumma? I would say you have to play Rhea. Anderson from Fulham. If it's Anderson from Fulham, you gotta start. I mean, that's a 4-point floor. I'm just trying to think. Probably Chow by how bad Spurs have been. Again, reluctantly, I do think Spurs can get a goal in this game, even though we've been shite. I want to speak about that in a second. What are your thoughts on Bruno Guimaraes? Not bad. I don't love him though. My prediction for this game week is he'll get a yellow card. I need to make a bet. Thank you for subscribing, Imran. By the way, lads, just to note, we are closing in on 10k subscribers. We just hit 9.3k. You know, it's been a great run since I've been consistent on the channel. I'm loving making the content, lads. I'm genuinely really, really enjoying it. I hope you're enjoying the content as well. Do let me know how I can improve. I'm always open to suggestions, and I never miss the live streams, of course. Anyway, like I was saying, almost at 10k subscribers, and I'm trying to get as close to 10k before the end of the year if we can't get there. I'm unsure if it's unrealistic to call 700 subscribers by the end of the year, but anyway, shoot for the moon and see what happens. When our player is heading to AFCON, it looks like after game week 16, Lukey's, you know, no confirmation on that as of yet, but from my understanding and from what I've seen from press conferences, it looks like a lot of the guys will be going to AFCON after game week 16. And the reason it's not confirmed is because there's a discussion, a 3-way discussion that happens between the player, the club, and the nation. And this goes for all players at all clubs, and they negotiate. Not necessarily a negotiation. It's more so, you know, if Liverpool really wanted to hold on to Salah because heavy fixture congestion, well, you know, there would be shouts for him to stay longer from Liverpool's end, and Egypt might be more than happy to play in Marmoush and be comfortable going into those games without Salah, for example. Oops, I'm a bad egg. I didn't like the stream. Again, do hit the like button and subscribe. Let's do another poll though. Are you going against the captaincy this game week? So who is your game week 14 captain? And let me stick an emoji in there because I always feel like I can. Nice. Let's go Haaland, Bruno, Saka, and I'm going to put other because there's not many other people that I think people are considering. But I am, of course, going to click the other button. Anyway, that poll is up. Do hit the a vote. I am intrigued to see how split it is in here. And I do wonder, is my watch base, you know, more inclined to go against the obvious captain? Because, I mean, it's kind of what FPL Shy embodies. Now, I'm not trying to recommend it. Again, I always say, go with your gut. Go with who you think will score the most points this game week. For me, I'm more than happy to roll the dice on Salah. And again, I wouldn't fear against going to captaincy. What I would say is, I've done it 4 or 5 or 6 times this season so far. 3 times on Bruno, I think, already so far this season, and a few times on Salah. As much as it can hurt your rank, when in the weeks it does go well, lads, it goes really well. So I think this is a week where it'll be split, so I wouldn't worry too much. And a lot of the bigger creators are also going against the grain, against Haaland, I would say. Like, I think a lot of the analytic crew will go with Bruno. I think anyone with Salah will go with Salah. I think the people going with Haaland probably don't own Bruno or are happy where they are. Anyway, Richard says, can we do a free hit draft? Absolutely we can. Let me quickly answer a question from Oishi first. He says, hey Chow, would you transfer Senesi to Calafiori or Chow? I would go with Chow, personally. And then would you play either of them over Minta this game week? No, I would play Minta, personally. That's just me though. And going Voldemari, I'm braving it. I like Voldemari. Hold on, against Tottenham. Fair enough, I do get it though. 41% currently on Erling Haaland. I do get it. You know, there's nothing wrong with Haaland. I feel like in any given week he could be the best captain. Some is leaning towards Minoz. Eddie says, would you captain Bruno Fernandes over Haaland? I would. If I didn't have Salah, I would. Anyway, let's go to FPL team and let's create a game week 14 free hit draft. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think too much would change from last game week. And it wouldn't be too far off my current team. I would just have less rotation risks. Now, I don't know if that's cocky for me to say. Do let me know in chat. But again, I have the players I have on my team because I believe in them. So therefore, I would have Salah and Haaland in the team. Bruno Fernandes plays against West Ham, so I also would have him. I think what I would try to do is also somehow fit Saka. So let's see if we can make a team with Salah, Haaland, Saka and Bruno, while having a 4 at the back, I want to say. We're going to have to go. So let's tin out with pretty much everyone we can. And I'm actually not going to have Arsenal defense in this team. Let me quickly maximize this so you can see a bit better. Apologies, chat. Hopefully that's a bit better. But if I was on free hit, what would I do? Let's see what I would do. So I would try fit in the 4 guys I want. First off, I feel like this is, you've seen how split captaincy is due to the Rob T graphic, and this is how I would try make some of my picks. So let's see, how are we going to do this? Joe Rodon goes in. O'Reilly I wouldn't have. So I would have Lacroix. I would 10 million % have Lacroix. Again, it's just the fixture. I probably would double up. You know what I would... would I do that? Probably not, actually. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud, lads. I would go to a cheaper goalkeeper. Who we got fixture-wise? You can go Henderson. You can go with... that's what I'm going to do. I would go with... or will I go with him? I will. Lamens, let's go with him. United goalkeeper. Let's go with Delict. Defcon, decent fixture with West Ham. Let's also go for maybe Dominic Szoboszlai in midfield. 0.6 in the bank. Of course, we have to move on Anderson. Let's go to Mitchell. Spice it up. Play the clean sheet odds. Can we go to anyone cheaper than a Pivot? 3.9. No. Sell someone suggesting. I think if I could get this Rodon spot. Is there anyone nice at 4.1 that has a good fixture? 4.1. Let's look at some of the worst their fixtures this game week. Wolves play against Forest. Szoboszlai. Can we bump him down to a Minta perhaps? Stick in a Minta. Gives us 0.5 to go from Joe Roden. I wonder, could you go for a Canva? Something like that, and go balls to the wall and go, okay, I wonder is Richards going to get a benching? That's how confident I would be on Richards benching. And I actually also captain Salah. Is that too bold? By the way, free hit draft for anyone who's just tuning in. Actually, maybe I wouldn't go Canva. I would probably play a bit safer. That is, a small bit bolder, even for my liking. Who's a good fixture this game week? You could go with a Forest defender. 4.5 centre half lads, or any player, to be honest. Put your suggestions in chat. Let me look for fixtures again. Forest defender, I don't love. Someone leaked the City team. Anyway, it would be something close to that. How about Palmer? I don't know if I would go Palmer. He's probably going to see 65 minutes, I want to say. Vandenberg. Absolutely not with Arsenal. Van Heck. Van Heck is not a bad shout. And again, decent for DEFCON. Yeah, I like that. That's probably something similar to what I'd free hit. Again, I hope you can see the thought process. Doubling up on the defenders. Going all out, balls to the wall and attack. I feel like this is actually a great week to free hit Anderson in. Wolves. The Cyper, also a great shout, playing left wing. Actually, yeah, that's who we're going to go with. Better shout even that. The Cyper. 4.3 as well. It gives you 0.2 if you wanted to move on Minta. Okay, anyway. I would free hit something similar to that. Let's move back and do a little scroll on the timeline. Again, I want to make sure you guys are not missing anything on the timeline. Let's do a little refresh real quick. That's actually interesting. We done the free hit. This is what Solio Analytics would currently have as their free hit. They have no Haaland, Bruno, Salah. Oh, I'm after missing Virgil out of that draft. Actually, I just realised. You could put in Trafford actually also. Interesting. Anyway, let's do a little scroll. Spiros' AI team. I'm surprised the poll is not more... Okay, so just looking at the poll that we put up, Game Week 14 captain, 40% of you guys are on Haaland. 25% on Bruno and 28% on other. Who is the other? You guys can't own Salah as well, surely, to God. Surely not. Not like this. You're not going down with me. Will I triple captain Haaland this game week? No, I wouldn't. Okay. Let's talk about my Sarr replacement. So, when we talk about Sarr replacements, I feel like it is quite obvious for my own team. If you look at who I don't have Yankuba Minta. I don't love the Minta move, but I definitely really like it. I feel like there's not too much discussion on this for me. For me, Minta 6.2 leaves me with 0.3 in the bank. So, I really like that. Otherwise... what I would be looking at, and again, it's not necessarily... So, Minta is going to be, a bit of a punt. I don't have to play him each week. I want to play him this game week and next week for sure because I have Thiago on the bench. When I look at some of the other options from 6.6 down, Iliman Ndiaye would be the one I would want if I could get to him. I can't get to him. No, Minta does not go to AFCON, unfortunately. They didn't qualify. So, other options are like Tavernier, not bad. Again, minutes look really good recently. In the last, 6 games, 90 minutes. Good fixtures. 2 home games in the next 3, and also Burnley at home in 17, which would look good for the bench boost. And also would leave me with 1 million in the bank. So Tavernier is definitely a good option, and one I have considered. Keenan Dewsbury Hall, another good option for 4.9. Same sort of thought process. Won't need him in game week 16 and 17. Might bench boost 18. But Forest at home and Bournemouth away, not bad fixtures, and a player who's been on great form for that price point. Why and the because again, I'm getting the AFCON transfers. He's on penalties, good for DEFCON. Talisman for Everton on penalties. I have also considered Kudus, but I think that's me playing with my heart. Unfortunately, I do think it is me playing with my heart. I always feel like Kudus is going to be a good option though. And I have, he's been a player that I've liked holding even when he's been poor. But with Newcastle Newcastle away, it's just a terrible, terrible fixture. Bruno Guimaraes, yeah, he is an option. But for me, I don't love him. I just feel like, a game for rotation is going to happen for him. Personally, in my opinion. And also, he loves the yellow card. So, not ideal. Again, I might add, none of these options I particularly like. Just to know. Who else do we have? So we have Weaver, who is good for DEFCON, but I can't get myself to do it because I already have Soboslai, Minta if I bring him in, Anderson. These are people who are great for DEFCON, but a small bit more passive. And then otherwise, I don't think we have too much else than that. Anyway. What the decision will come down to, it is for my own team. Let me reload my own team on FPL team. So this will be my team for game week 14. It will look at something a little bit like this. And let's say we do go down the Yankuba Minta route. Let's pencil in Yankuba Minta. And we actually bench Thiago. Looks really good. And I'd be very, very happy playing that. Just slight doubts in defence, of course, but other than that, I think I have no complaints. So like I said, if I go Minta, it gives me 0.3 in the bank for game week 15. If I go with Tavernier, it leaves me with 1 million in the bank. So if I look at what that 1 million could do me versus what that 0.3 in the bank could do me, and what I need to do in game week 15, well, if we look at game week 15, I don't have to do a whole lot. The only move I actually have to make, and I'd be quite comfortable playing everyone there providing the minutes are okay. I have Thiago off the bench with Tottenham, which is not a bad fixture at all. But it is to make a goalkeeper move. So I do not need the 0.3 or 1 million in the bank anyway. Unless I want to go to a Donnarumma or a Raya. Now, when I look at the keeper options that I could go to, if I don't want to do, or if I don't need to go to a Ray or Donnarumma, I can afford Alisson Becker in game week 15 with Leeds away, which I do quite like. We look at Liverpool's fixtures coming up. Leeds away, Brighton at home, Tottenham, Wolves, Leeds, Fulham. Not bad fixtures. And Liverpool are slowly but surely going to tighten up at the back. The likes of Jeremy Frimpong coming back from injury. I believe he's meant to be training next week. And same with Connor Bradley. So, Liverpool are starting to find their feet, in my opinion. I don't think they'd be too much... it won't go on too much longer where they're terrible. Sorry, I know I'm neglecting the chat a small bit more, but I'm just speaking a small bit on my team. If I don't want to go to an Alisson Becker in game week 15... because I think it's too much to spend on it, I could just go to a Verbergen. And if I go to Verbergen, it leaves me with 1 million in the bank. And again, just great fixtures for Verbergen overall. West Ham, Sunderland, West Ham again and Burnley. Great fixtures. So it's more so what going Verbergen lets me do in game week 16. Game week 16 is when I'll have to start looking towards bench boost. Now, game week 16 won't be the week I bench boost due to how the fixtures land. But it's when we get the free transfers in 16, and it's when I can start to decide to when to do that. So going with Verbergen leaves me with nice fixtures in 17 with Sunderland at home for Minta and Verbergen. Looking at that though, the fixtures in 17 don't land very well. But I will be making some big moves anyway. Anyway, I don't want to plan that much further ahead because, this game week I barely even know what I'm doing. But Yankuba Minta, my point, is probably sets me up the best going forward into future game weeks. Let me get back to some of your questions. Bruno Helen Abuemo for captain, what do you think? Bruno for me. HI, thoughts on Senesi to Chow or O'Reilly? I would go Chow. Better price points, better fixtures, better long term. Bruno plus Anderson, Forest, or Embuemo plus Minta / Ahmed, wildcard 15. If you're wildcarding in game week 15, I think I'd be way more inclined to take a punt. It really depends on what you want to do on captaincy, Sally. I think if you're captaining Bruno this game week, bring in Bruno and Anderson. If you don't like the Bruno captaincy, go in Embuemo, Ahmed. Play aggressive. Is Saliba going to play? I actually can't tell you. I don't know. I can't trust Arteta. -4 for Minta, Anderson, or Bruno G. JC, I don't know if any of those are worth a -4. If I had to choose.
Start Tarkowski or Alderete.
Thank you, Ryan, for the 35,000 IDR. I actually don't know what currency IDR is. Indonesian rupiah. Thank you, Ryan, for the super chat. He says, start Tarkowski or Alderete. 10 million % start Tarkowski for me. Again, it's just the goal threat he provides. For me, I would not be starting Alderete at all. And thank you for the super chat, Ryan. Appreciate it. Start Vicario or Dubravka, please. I would start Vicario for the save points. Newcastle are going to get chances. And off the odd chance Spurs happen to somehow keep a clean sheet, which has not happened this game week at St. James's Park, but I'd imagine Vicario is going to be on for a haul. Sarr, Eze, Mukiele, to Ndiaye, Gakpo, to Cyper. Yes, short term, Aaron. If you're not worried about, if you're more than happy to use the AFCON transfers. Richards might not play any bench coverage. For me, hopefully Mark Gee coming off the bench with Leeds away. Start 2 of Enzo, Anderson, Welbeck. I would be starting Enzo and Anderson. Enzo and Welbeck. As much as I'd want to start Anderson, I don't think you can in that situation. De Ligt has officially joined Davis West team. Congratulations, Davis. I actually think De Ligt is a decent pick. He just, at that price point, I can't get him. What do you think of Milenkovic? I don't love him, Adam, personally. I think, Murillo is much better if he's expected to be fit. Gibbs White, Anderson, Kuna, or Bruno G or Sarr as Sarr replacement. I would go Anderson. I think it just lets you do a lot more. And I think it will come to a point later down the line where we want to go to a Cole Palmer, perhaps. So, why did you get Szoboszlai over Gakpo? Price point. And I actually feel like Szoboszlai would take away nicely over this run of games. I like the positions he's picking up. He's just not got the chances yet. Johnny says, HI, Pino, Eze, Evanilson, bench 1. Have Ekitike 2, but I seem to be starting him. What are your thoughts? I wouldn't mind starting Ekitike this week. I don't think. Pino, Eze, Evanilson to bench 1. I would bench Evanilson. Captain Gakpo, I wouldn't be inclined to do it over the other options. João Pedro minutes. Yeah, I think there's a chance he sees reduced minutes for sure this game week. I'm actually unsure on a call on his minutes. I would say probably 60 if he does start. 60, 70 because I'm fairly sure he played the majority of that Arsenal game. Is Mateta good for this game week? He's not bad at all. I think there is a chance we see some reduced mins though for sure. Captain Boom or Bruno? Bruno for me. Do you think Krupi starts? Calling it a Krupi start week in, week out is tough, and to be honest, I wouldn't even try. I don't think you can. Szoboszlai to Minta. No, I wouldn't make that move. Bench 1, Bowen and Dier Minta. Probably Bowen. I just think West Ham have looked so flat in attack, and no Paqueta. Saying that though, we might get a DEFCON versus United. Captain Minoz. If you're confident on his minutes, start Richards and Mukiele. I probably would start Richards anyway. Pedro will start. The lap is shite. Yeah, I can hear that some. Again, I just, I'm unsure with Maresca. He's more than happy to always make rotations, especially with Pedro or with Palmer back some. I could see him potentially starting. Like, is Semenyo a good choice to have? Absolutely. If I could get Semenyo, I would bring him in. Start Trafford or O'Reilly. I would start Trafford if I just had him. Hey mate, Alisson for Pope makes any sense with Liverpool run? Absolutely makes sense. I do like it. Anto's off to work and night shift awaits him. Best of luck, Anto. And thank you for the kind words. Come on, you Spurs. Absolutely. I've just seen that. Do you know the way I can make that move for Alisson in game week 15? I wonder, is it worth making a move early for Alisson and taking a -4 hit? Again, I don't think it is. Becker. Well, let me just how I feel about it. See how I feel about it with it penciled in. Let's put in Yankuba Minta. Do I like that? I think the reason that I don't like that is because I have to make a move in game week 15 anyway. And that means, you know, potentially bringing in Alisson. What could I do elsewhere though if I... I don't love that, to be honest. I'd rather not take a hit and chance my arm on Dubravka. Hope for a 0-0. Start Trafford or Thiago? I will start Trafford. Rank Bruno Guimaraes, Minta, Anderson for long-term picks. Genuinely. It's tough. They're players that come in at different price points. I think the best value one there is Anderson. I would go Anderson, Minta, Bruno Guimaraes. Would you captain Mbeumo? I wouldn't personally. Best defender less than 5 million. Less than 5 million. Who are my options? Chow. I want to say Chow. Start Pedro or Welbeck. It's hard to bench Pedro this week, but Welbeck will get more minutes. I want to say start Pedro. Just a fixture, man. Again, I don't want to give you an answer there, honestly, but I think I have to. If you already have Minta, who would you go for Sarr? You know, I don't mind Szoboszlai. I'm not too worried about 4 yellow cards because I have to make a transfer next week anyway. Semenyo to Bruno for free. No, I don't think so. I think the only way I would do that is if I was captaining Bruno. And if you're captaining Bruno, that means you're high on him, so I would make the move. But some says he thinks Pedro's going to start personally. Aurelio Chow on free at 16. Chow. Sorry, to answer your question on Ramsdale, I don't mind it, but I don't like having to get rid of Dubravka. You know, Dubravka at 4 million, it's rare that we get a playing goalkeeper in case your one gets injured. This is why we own him. And he's also, you know, not bad to start. Burnley have been really poor, don't get me wrong, but in a given week, you know, you never know when that clean sheet is going to come in for Burnley. Again, I'm not saying it's going to come in this week versus Palace. I think it's actually very unlikely, but I wouldn't want Ramsdale. You never know when Howe's going to put Pope back in the team. Sally says Bruno plus Anderson or Mbeumo plus Ahmed. I've answered this. I would go Bruno plus Anderson. No, I would go Mbeumo plus Ahmed. Increase the risk. Salah or Saka? For this game week is Salah. For next game week it might be Salah as well, but again, it really depends on his minutes and how you see it. Like, if you told me Salah gets 90 minutes in the next 3, I think he's the best option in the next 3 for captaincy. How likely he gets that? Very unlikely, but this is my final chance on Salah. Had too many other issues to deal with this week. Yeah, that's fair. Just on Salah, I want to see the turnaround in fixtures for game week 14. So Leeds is a 3-day turnaround, so we can probably expect another Salah benching. Again, I wouldn't be confident that he'd be benched, but I wouldn't be confident he starts either. I'd probably be forced to start him. I don't know. Anyway, let me bring back up my team. I might make that Minta move early. Again, I want to wait until we get some team news, just in case. Sorry, I didn't mean to click on Craig's profile. Sprinting home will be 10 minutes late to stream. Where are we? Okay, let me do a little scroll on the timeline and see if we're getting anything interesting. Would you bring in Salah? Would you bring in... Who would you bring in for Salah? Saka, yes. If I'm ever going to sell Salah, unless we see a big uptick in Palmer's minutes and Palmer being fully back, I don't think I'd go to anyone other than Saka. Now, saying that, there is one route in game week 16 that I do if I want to get rid of Salah. And it's Salah to Kuna. Again, this is just a potential route if I don't go Saka. And Soboslai up to Semenyo. Really trying to get the guys who, don't play Europe. That's an option though later down the line. Senesi to Timber for a -4 hit? Absolutely not. Unless you've, like, I would just play the 4 million defender on my bench, assuming I have one. Brighton versus Aston Villa predicted lineup. Yankuba Minta, the Cyber Welbeck. Barnes or Calafiori? Barnes versus Tottenham. You know how Tottenham operate, especially in their form. First sub, Anderson or Thiago? Anderson, have the DEFCON. Pope out for 3 weeks. Okay, we'll get back to the timeline in just a second. Anyway, let me get back to some of your questions. Prioritize Minta or Anderson this game week? I don't think there's much in Anderson or Minta. All the models have him quite close on points as well. I think Minta is probably better. Again, he is more expensive, but it really depends on what you want to do with your team. If you're more than happy to have Anderson as an 8th attacker, I would go Anderson. Chicken, to answer your question, I think it's because he's not exactly nailed. He's still a rotation risk. Foden or Gakpo? Gakpo for me. What about 4 free transfers for next game week? I don't know what you mean by that, Will. Is Juve to Chao a wise move? Yes, absolutely. Is it spicy to captain Buemo, have Haaland, no Bruno? Clive, in that case, I would just captain Haaland personally. It's not saying Buemo can't do it. There's a good chance he does, but I don't know. It's hard to look past Haaland, even with Bruno in your team. Pope to Rhea for a hit. Don't love that. Who's the guy for Man City Team News? FPL newsletter. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I have Sarr and Diouf 0.2 million in the bank. Who to buy? Again, I would just go to Anderson or Minta. Anyway, to look at the captaincy poll before I close it up, 45% of you guys are captaining Haaland, 27% on Bruno, 22% on other, and 6% only on Saka, which is interesting. Let's do a new poll. Let's do a poll on, because this is a common question, Sarr versus Anderson. Elliot Anderson now, of course. Minta. Minta versus Anderson. Who you got? Of course, I've got Anderson because I prefer Anderson. That's why I went with him on as a transfer over Minta in the first place, and now I'm forced to do it due to Sarr. Do get voting on that poll. Enjoy to Anderson this week, or enjoy to Gakpo next week and get Gakpo this week without a hit. Get Gakpo this week without a hit. I would be very, very happy to hold on to Enjoy this game week if I owned him. I might add. Brought in Bruno for Sarri, and that's a phenomenal move. You'd have no complaints there. Mino's captaincy punt. Don't love it. This week, Anderson. I don't know. Minta can get a goal versus Villa. High line. Legend, -4 for Minoz or Timber or play Esteve. Thanks again for everything. Cheers from Amsterdam. Cheers, Burrend, for the kind words. To answer your question, -4 for Minoz or Timber or just play Esteve. I think I would just play Esteve. Yeah, there's not many -4s that would be worth it this week for me, due to rotation and how it looks this week. Bruno or Semenyo? Already have him Buemo. Bruno for me. But Semenyo is great, man. This could be the week he hurts me big time. The poll is close. The poll is going to be close. By the way, let me know where you guys are watching from. We just got someone watching from Amsterdam. I'm obviously Irish, of course. I say obviously, I don't exactly look Irish, but I am Irish. Let me know where you're watching from, whether it's a city, whether it's a country. I'm intrigued. We often do this, and we always get new people in here, so let me know. Sanchez Torreira, you got me thinking. Dubai, but from the UK. JC, let me know what you're doing in Dubai. I always wonder what, how you end up in Dubai. There's always a story to that. Dirty Leeds is from Leeds. Malaysia, good to see Arlovlin. Singapore, she knows from. I'm watching from Chelsea, London. Trinidad, up to Chelsea. Chelsea, India. Watching from Bray, Denmark. Cape Town, come on you Spurs. Athens, may move to Dublin for work soon though. Interesting Greek prodigy. If you need any pointers, again, I'm not from Dublin, but about Ireland in general, be sure to reach out to me on Twitter. Cape Town, Blackpool, Shannon. I actually done my placement in Shannon, North London. What side of North London, Elliot? Tris is from Thailand. Ian is in Dubai as well. Cambridge. Quite posh, that. I'm a primary school teacher. Looking to move to Australia in the next couple of years. That's really interesting. JC. Chinese studying in Manchester. Nice one. Jun Safeng. There's very little Chinese people we get in here. Nigeria, Sam is from. John is from Boston. Sophus is Copenhagen as well. Sammy's Stockholm. Cairo from Amrus. That's the coolest one so far. Cairo. Love that one. Amin is also from Dubai. Anyway, interesting to hear all you guys from across the globe. It is mad. Like, I'm just sitting here behind the camera in my little room in Ireland and hear you guys watching me from across the globe. Anyway, let's get back to the FPL. And I want to do another little scroll on the timeline in case we get any team news. Let's see what we get. I think I'm actually just going to bring in Minta now. Let me verify. So it's Bournemouth, Fulham, City, Everton, Newcastle, Spurs. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get any news today that would influence my picks. So I'm actually going to make my move now. We very rarely make an early move on stream. And this will give me an opportunity to answer more of your questions. So this is what we'll do. Let's actually make my move now. I'm going to bring in Yankuba Minta. I'm set on that. I've actually no complaints to that, and I think Minta's been great this season. What is captaincy like among the content creators, Chai? The general consensus, I'm seeing, I'm going to say 75% on Bruno Fernandes if they own him. Shino, that's actually one that's not being talked about. Semenyo, I don't mind that. I think if he had returned last week, it'd be a bit more popular. But anyway, Yankuba Minta is going to be my transfer for game week 14. Again, it's 3 home fixtures and 4 decent fixtures and sets me up nicely for bench boost. FPL Scott says, get Anderson, then you can change Ray to Pope. I already own Anderson, my man. Anyway, let's make the transfer. Sarr to Minta. He's in. Yankuba Minta play a 4-5-1 this game week. I just wonder now, bench order, Thiago, Guy or Rodon. What way would you have it? Rodon can of course get DEFCON. They've been decent at home. It's okay, Scott, don't worry. Bench order is a tough one in case Richards misses out. Why no Villa players? It's not by for any reason. There's no narrative there. It's just they've not made a place in their team, in my team. Rodon first, says Radim. Let's do another little poll. The poll on Minta Anderson is actually 50-50. Interesting. Let's do a poll on who you'd have first bench. First bench. Thank you guys for the help, by the way. And do hit the like button and subscribe if you aren't already. We are closing in on 10k. Let's do Thiago, Guy, and Roden. Who would be your first sub in my team? Sarr, Anderson, or Chow? I would say Anderson, assuming it's Elliot Anderson. Kuna replacement. Kuna is the Kuna replacement. Hi Chai. Captain Thiago did knock Burnley out of park, didn't he? Yeah, he was phenomenal. And fair play if you went there on captaincy. Roden have had a Guy. Chelsea fan, and I think Roden could get DEFCON this match, and I think Guy will come off the bench for 20 for the Lap or Pedro. Good point, but 20 minutes versus... Yeah, no, actually, I don't even need to argue that. You're right there. So then it's between Thiago and Roden. 78% currently on Thiago. Keep Eze or look for a replacement. I would keep Eze for this week, I think. Anuar says, hello Chai. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. Please, bench 2 of the following players. Welbeck, João Pedro, Foden, Anderson, Enzo, Eze. I wouldn't want to bench any of those. But if I had to choose, it would be Anderson and João Pedro, I think. Reluctantly, though. And if I had a bench boost, I'd probably play it. What do you think about Becker? Great option, in my opinion. I'm trying to think now, lads. Is a -4 hit for Alisson worth it? Like, if I think... What is the likely outcome here? Burnley, Crystal Palace. Let's just say it's 2-0. Dubravka makes a save point, or gets a save point. So he gets a 3-pointer. Is it 3-pointer? A 2-pointer in a 2-0 loss. And then obviously if I'm bringing Alisson in, I'm assuming a clean sheet. And it puts me a transfer head next week. So it wouldn't actually do much to do that this week. There's very little in it. And I doubt Alisson's going to get a haul. So I'm better off waiting. Liam in chat. How are you doing? He says, Sean, I'm doing great. He says, just popping in because I've got college exams to study for. Best of luck with those exams, Liam. Let me know what exam it is. What module is it? Another Salah captaincy says, I thought you were better than this. Yeah, I know. I'm doubling down. I feel like I have to because I own him. I do feel like I have to because I own him. And I feel like he's going to start this game. You're confident Sunderland score somehow? I'm not so confident of that personally. Multi-Infinity says... what does he says? Bench 1, Gakpo, Semenyo, Anderson, Enzo, Mbeumo, João Pedro. How do people have such good teams, man? It has to be Anderson, I'd say. Start Tavernier or Bruno G? I would start Tavernier. Anderson to Semenyo or Enzo to Semenyo? Again, it comes down to price points. This week, I would probably just roll. Surely you got to roll that and bring in Semenyo later down the line. Or have more money to work around, or more transfers to work around with next week. Don't really trust Liverpool defence. I hear it. Dream is also captain in Salah. He says the rest, or he's also doubling down the rest too. We sort of have to unless we buy Saka. Exactly. And I'm not buying Saka this week, so I'm going to captain Salah. I've got 7.9 to spend on a midfielder. Who should I bring in? I've got Minta and Kuna already. Probably Semenyo. A history module. Oh no. Don't get me started. That sounds fun. Liverpool can't defend. Sunderland set pieces. Fair. Dream says, anyway, Chai, looking at Senesi replacements. My defence is pretty elite. Virgil, Guardiola, Tarkovsky, Anderson. Thinking about Chow or Lacroix. Who do you reckon? I reckon Lacroix for me, Dream. Gianni is captaining Mbeumo, is he? Let me give him a text right now. Let me go into my WhatsApp and text him and saying a little birdie has told me you're captaining Mbuemo. Can you confirm? Maybe you're pulling my arm there, chicken, but I have to pull him up on that, see what he says. Captain, Haaland, Saka, and Mbuemo. If it came down to it for me and I had those three, it would be Haaland. One bench, Dewsbury Hall, Virgil, Timber. Dewsbury Hall. Marku probably infuriated Gianni. Fair. Lads, I'm starving. I can't wait to get something to eat. Head's gone. Okay, let's do another little scroll on the timeline. And then what we're going to do is, stick with me, lads. Again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away 5 more channel memberships. I think I still have 5 more to give away. So if you want to stick around, do bear with me. And then we'll get the channel memberships out for anyone who's interested. So, firstly, before I do that, let me scroll on Twitter. I want to see if we're going to get any more information or if there's anything interesting on the timeline. Best defense options: Chow, Timber, Lacroix. Other than that, don't really love anyone else. Gianni is texting me back. What did he say? He says, I'm streaming now, but as things stands, I am. And I'm just going to send him a picture of Mo Salah. He's not going to love that. 60-40 in Mbuemo Haaland. Okay, so he's not locked in. So you seriously benching Thiago with no Saliba and Gabriel? Yeah, I just feel like systematically how Arsenal play, it doesn't matter who's at the back. I feel like that's why they're so good. It doesn't... As good as Gabriel and Saliba are, Hincapié and Mosquera can do the job, I would say 85% the way there. Due to the system. Cactus Jack, good to see you. He says, my man Choice, unless he's suspended, and I already have one free transfer for Minta. Do I do a -4 and sell Rodon, or just start him and charge it to the game? I would just play Rodon in that case, Cactus Jack. And also, good to see you, my man. Thoughts on Sarr to Barnes? Don't mind it, don't love it. What transfer have you made? I brought in Yankuba Minta for Sarr. Gakpo or Rice for the next 3? Cody Gakpo. I have 2 free transfers. Should I sell Enzo for Bruno and Pope to Vergen and play Anderson? Yes. Shall I start Thiago or take a -4 for Senesi to Timber? I will start Thiago. Who do I play? Trefort or Van Heck? That's a really, really close one. I think I would start Trefort, chase the upside. What are Bruno captainers expecting for points? I want to say a 10-pointer with Defcon. One attack and return and he's likely on bonus. Start with Teta, Haaland, João Pedro. I don't know what kind of question that is. Choi, would you play Sarr? Or would you do Sarr to...
Ain't no stream like a chai stream. Smiley face emoji.
And there's also not a stream unless Cactus Jack is super chat. And again, Cactus Jack with another super chat. I don't know how many consecutive streams that is in a row, but thank you, Cactus Jack, for supporting the channel consistently. I do appreciate it. And on that note, let's give away some channel memberships for you guys. I think I have 5 to give away, so let's pull up my live stream and give them away. Another super chat. I don't know how many... how do I do this? Show support. Membership gifting. I can send 5 right now. Okay. So let's do this. Let me close the poll so you guys can see. What we're going to do, I want you guys to spam... I want one choice as Jobo. Okay. Spam W chat in chat to have a chance to win a membership. Omar, you still have a membership. Spam W chat in chat to have a chance, and also hit the like button and subscribe if you aren't already to have a chance to win. W chat in any sequence. Yeah, just spam any W. And we'll get that rolling for about a minute or two, and then we'll send out these memberships. Again, thank you for the support, lads. You're absolutely killing it. Even on some of the videos on my channel, again, there are a large range of you who are consistently watching the videos week in, week out, showing the support. I can't thank you enough. And again, I couldn't do this without you guys. So, let's leave this roll for a second and then we'll give out these super chats. Will I need the membership, says Davis? I don't know, Davis, but why not have two? Okay, we'll leave it run for another 15 seconds. And then we will get these out. Okay, before I send them out, there are two people who I hope win them. One of them is Eddie Casey. Eddie Casey is one who's been watching. He comments on every single video. God bless his cotton socks. Who else is someone I'd like to see win one? Downtown is a good shout. Okay, let's send them out. Best of luck, and let's see who wins them. And Downtown has only got a 1-1. Joe has won one as well. Ian has won one. Joe as well. Am I missing anyone? It will come up now. Joe has won one. Fair play, Joe. Shino as well. John as well. There you go, lads. W chat. Thank you all for getting involved. Jobo is not happy. Ian is still spamming his W's. He's buzzing. Oh, that's brilliant. Anyway, guys, thank you for spamming it. And I just wanted Downtown to win one, and he's only gone and done it. Johan has won one as well. And I must have had a username. There you go, lads. Fair play. Anyway, let's get back to the FPL. And congrats to those who have won one. Again, if we're feeling generous, I might do another 5 at the end of the stream. Who knows? Or we might save it for another stream. But anyway, let's get back to the FPL. Let's get your questions in. And how many likes is this stream on, lads? Again, anything less than 150 is unacceptable at this current point in time. We're currently on 98. Let's get that over 150. Again, I do appreciate your support. And let's have a little scroll on the timeline, shall we? Yeah, congrats to all winners. Also, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to post my team because I'm locked in. I'm going to post on the timeline. Just and you know what we might do? If you guys are on Twitter, you might put your team in the comment section. Or you might comment your team on this one. We might do a few ratings. What have I done? I'm currently 130k overall. Let's stick that in. Bear with me a second, chat. Downtown, you just knew this was going to happen. Yeah, exactly. Jam, the absolute jam. Let's put a world emoji. Sorry guys, I just realized you can't see that. Let me zoom in a small bit for you. Overall, let's go Salah, captain. Let's put a crown to state our case for the GOAT. Start rescinding memberships. Oh, I put a crow by accident instead of crown. Oops. Yo Choi, yo chat and Choi, risk grinders mins or go safe with Mukiele? I would risk grinders. I just have a big risk appetite. And I've done, who have I done? No worries, Joe. Glad to hear. I have done, why can't I think, lads? I've just done the transfer and I can't think. Sarr, sorry. I'm actually brain dead today. To Minta. Don't love the defense this game week. Don't love the defense, but overall happy. Alright. Okay, lads. For anyone who's interested and you want to see, we might scroll through maybe 5 teams again. I don't want to hold you guys on looking at other people's teams, but if you want to get your team in, we'll quickly review it on stream. When I say review it, I'll rate it from 1 to 10. And also, do hit the like button, lads. 150 is the goal. Anyway, best 4.6 million defender. Who do we even have for 4.6? Like, I would have said Richards, and I would say Anderson now, but it's just not a good opening fixture. 4.6, you got Keane, Richards, Anderson. I'm going to say Anderson. You know, even with the poor fixture, you just hope he gets DEFCON this week, maybe. Where are we putting our teams? On my Twitter post, if you want it seen. Yeah, let's see if it has anyone put it in on there already. Mike's team is here. He says no Haaland again. I mean, that's a very, very strong team playing the fixtures. I love that. That's a solid 8.5 for this game week if the minutes are good for Minoz, Mateta, and Evan Nilsson. A trade. This is interesting. FPL MK. Why you should captain Salah if you own him? Play Enzo or Richards? Crisis is asking. I would play Enzo for sure. I believe Sunderland's fixtures have been kind to them and are a team to target in the league. Full deep analysis. Sounds good to me. To be honest, you know, I would never look that deep into it personally. I go, great fixture. After getting a rest, good minutes. It's enough for me. But yeah, sounds good. Let's see, has anyone else put on their team? Bullenfest, this is his team. Triple Arsenal defence, and he has the 3 good ones. That's such an interesting team, and I really, really like it. And also, well set up with Chow. I've not seen a team like this. I actually really, really like that. That's a solid 9.5. Tinkin Cap FPL, good to see you. I hope you're well. Who's this? Let me know which of you guys this is. But again, very enjoyable stream when I done that. I can't get over this team, lads. I've not seen a team like this. We'll take 2 more. Zoina has got... I don't know if you've brought in Anderson, but also got Anderson. I would not be benching Enjoy for what it's worth this game week. I would be benching Thiago. But nice team, Zoina, if you're in here. And lastly, Tommy. Help me out, Chai. He's got a 3-4-3. There's not much helping that needs to be had here. I don't know how many free oh, he has it there. I would actually roll that. There's no issues with this team on my end. 3-4-3 this week I would play with that team. It's actually quite strong. And I would roll and use the 2 free transfers next game week. Benji, good to see you, Benji, man. Hope you're well. Hope Mo Salah smashes it. Me too, man. If Mo Salah smashes it this week, it could send me into the top 100k easily. 26 minutes on the deadline stream, lads. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Bruno G, Anderson or Minta. Again, JC, it depends what you want to do with your team and how you want to distribute funds. For me, it's Anderson, Minta, Bruno G, due to price points. Start Guy or Joachim Anderson. I would start Joachim. Again, I also don't know if I'm pronouncing that wrong. How to pronounce Joachim Anderson? I'm fairly sure I'm pronouncing it wrong.
We've names from football as well. Too many people mispronounce. Stay tuned. Joachim Anderson.
Joachim. There you go, lads. Joachim. Okay, now we know. Ishank says, hi Shai, just joined. How are you doing? I'm well. Thank you for asking. Finished work at 4 o'clock. Straight into the deadline stream. What are your moves for this game week and the next? So this week I've brought in Yankuba Minta. It leaves me with 0.3 million in the bank. In game week 15 I'll be looking to make a goalkeeper move because I do not want to play Dubravka away at Newcastle. I have options. Do I want to go with Verbergen with West Ham at home? Or do I want to go with Alisson Becker, which I do think is an aggressive play, yet I like with Leeds away? 2 options, and I don't think I'll be making a move anywhere else because I'm actually quite happy with the team in game week 15. Probably one of my better game weeks. Is Van de Ven a keep? I mean, at this point, if you have Van de Ven, I don't know, you know, who else you'd move him on to. Good luck, brother, says Dream. Thank you. Chow, price rise tonight. Semenyo to Bruno for captain and Senesi to Esteve or of Burnley -4. If you think, Joe, that Bruno is going to kill it this week, I would. But I also wouldn't be worried if you have a full team to just play Semenyo. Semenyo is great this game week. To the 188 of you who are in here, thank you for joining me again. I do actually quite enjoy the midweek fixtures. Let's do some fixture predictions, will we? How do we feel the games are going to go for today, anyway, if we don't do them all? Bournemouth versus Everton. What you got? I'm going to go 1-1 in the Bournemouth-Everton game. Let me know how you feel about that game. In the Fulham game, I'm actually going to go something quite boring yet simplistic. 2-0 City. And in Newcastle Spurs, I'm actually going to go with a 1-1 draw. FPL Citizens tweeted the lineup. Could be bullshit. First off, one good rule of thumb for me when I'm looking at leaks on Twitter. If the name starts with FPL, it's usually not a reliable leak unless it's the FPL newsletter. Again, that's just me personally. But again, we will be keeping an eye out for any leaks that we can get. Come on, lad. You lads always get a battering when you come to the Northeast. You're not wrong. And you know what? Let me actually pull up the head-to-head for Newcastle. Because don't get me wrong, I know Isaac left Statmoose. Van de Ven on Azars last time I can remember. Spurs, Statmoose, sorry. I actually can't think. Haha says 3-1 Bournemouth. 2-0 City, 1-0 Spurs. It's very similar to what I said. Yeah, not great. 2-1, 2-1, 4-0. 2023 4-1 Spurs. Is that the game Andrew was in charge? I'm trying to think back. Oh yeah, I do remember this game. Back when Spurs were good, eh? 23 shots. My God. What have we become? Terrorists. We're not even terrorists because we're shit at defending. Anyway. Hey, Chai, do you think... Dream says 2-0 Newcastle. Noir says, do you think Foden can get more minutes than João Pedro this game week? Yes. I think yes. Add in a 7-1 and a 6-1 in the 90s. Yeah, you're right, in fairness. Hey, Chai, would you start Petrovic over the Bravka? I would, definitely. You're like the only content creator that actually reads chat fields. I try my best. I try to be as interactive as possible. It's the good thing about having a bit of a lower viewership than some of the bigger guys. I can answer more. And I still manage to miss out on so many questions. So I do apologise if I have missed your question. Bruno has never scored against West Ham, for your information. Yeah, and it's not a stat that I look into ever, because it is until it isn't. Again, Jean-Philippe Mateta was similar with Bournemouth and then clocked some mad XG and a hat-trick. Hey boss, bench Ndiaye over Pedro or Anderson? I wouldn't be benching Ndiaye this week, I don't think. Should I captain Mbeumo or Haaland? I would captain Haaland. What do you think about Kudus as his, and his goal against Fulham? Kudus is a phenomenal player, I have no doubt about it. I just need him to get back to full fitness and back in form. It could be a 1 week punt that I'd be willing to go for with Brentford at home next week. Hey Legend, would you play Krupi or Mukiele? I probably would risk playing Krupi. I don't love it though. Hey Chai, I hope you're well. I'm all good. Which defender would you start? Virgil, Minoz, O'Reilly or Timber? Which defender would you start? Virgil, Minoz. I wouldn't want to bench any of those at all. If I had to choose though, it has to be O'Reilly. Thoughts on Minoz captain, says Ian. I just don't know about going Crystal Palace right now, Ian. They looked absolutely shot in that last game versus United. And also, like, they just weren't You know, Minogue's in particular. Usually he's bombing up and down. He didn't look as enthusiastic in that game. Kudus is overrated. I actually couldn't disagree more. Stealth about Mohamed Kudus. I actually think, you know, Kudus has some player in him, and if he was playing in a system or a team that suited him a bit better, you'd see it week in, week out. It's only because he plays for Tottenham you don't see it as much. And I actually agree with that across the board with the likes of a Van de Ven or Romero. Imagine those guys played in a better defence. Chewy FPL says, the team looks strong, bro. Wow, I'm starting Thiago versus double Arsenal defence. Fair. Yeah, I think my team looks quite strong as well. I'm happy with it. I think my team is set if Richards is starting this game week. I'm playing Thiago with Arsenal defence. I don't love. Someone just said something about the Asian choi, and I can't see the message. Put that back in. It's not offensive. Don't worry. You can't offend me. Do you think Guimaraes is overlooked? I don't want to say overlooked. I think he's fairly looked. There's a lot of people asking. Just put the captain back on Haaland. Boring Haaland. Nah, not for me. Hey Choi, Mike here. Hello Mike. Bench Enjoy or Evan Nilsson? I will be benching Evan Nilsson. The Dud brother says, love your streams, Choi. Thank you, the dude brother. First time seeing you in here. Ishank says, what are your opinions on Bruno Fernandes plus Van Heck versus Foden plus O'Reilly Chow going forward? I think can't trust so many Man City in this period. That is fair. I would say Bruno Fernandes versus plus Van Heck is quite strong. Would you rather do Voldemade in for João Pedro this week or take out Senesi for O'Reilly? It's hard for me to say, Caleb, due to I don't know what your team is, so I can't actually answer. Live Sneaker says, who to sub, Eze or Rogers? Neither. I'd probably hold on to 3 of them. The Asian Ross. Why Anderson over Thiago? Well, if I'm going against the captaincy, I'm hoping Fulham don't concede more than 4 goals. Therefore, I got a 3-pointer, which I think would be more than Thiago's 1-pointer. And off the off chance Fulham do keep a clean sheet, Anderson will be on for a 12-pointer. Davis says, I know Gakpo is the play, but I can't get Pedro Neto out of my head. Shall I do it, Shai? Spin the wheel potentially and put it down to fate. Davis, my boy, I don't have an answer for you either. Let's do spin the wheel. So this is for Davis, who is stuck on getting Pedro Neto or Cody Gakpo. Don't know if you can see that, but I was not expecting that on even from the wheel. Even the wheel had it close. There you go, Davis. I hope that answers your question. Let me know what you end up doing. Go on the Choi lad, says Kit. Is Semenyo to captain a consideration? It's definitely not bad. Just won't be my preference over some of the options this game week. Captain Minoz over Bruno, Saka, Erling. Not for me, man. Thoughts on Bruno triple captain? I wouldn't do it personally. Is there a good site to look at keeper pairings? I don't know what you mean by that. Is Konate a good boy? Not a bad one. Again, he got DEFCON last game, I believe. Hi mate, I have Minta and my third defender option is Cash/Poro. Play one of them or take a -4 for Timber / O'Reilly. I would play Cash. I would not play Poro in this game because I think there's a chance he goes to the bench with some of the things we saw last game week. And it being a tough game at St. James's Park. I wonder, does he play Spence at right back? Sarr and Enjoy out for Bruno and Anderson, Minta, or Saka and Anderson? Saka and Anderson. To see what rotating fixtures. Well, I don't know if there is, but right now I can tell you, a Brighton goalkeeper with Petrovic is probably our best bet. It clashes in 17, but other than that, it looks well. Would you play a Sunderland defender or take a -4 for Lacroix? I would just play a Sunderland defender if it's one that can get DEFCON specifically. Bro, please spin the wheel on João Pedro and Foden. I truly can't decide. I'm actually going to hold off because then we're going to get a load of spin the wheel requests if that's okay. But to answer your question, João Pedro and Foden, I would definitely bench João Pedro, I think. Actually, it's a bit closer. Actually, don't listen to me. I don't have an answer. Alright, let's do a little scroll on the timeline and see what we got. Anything interesting. Senesi to Livermento or playing Ndiaye? Why are so many people against playing Iliman and Ndiaye this game week? I actually really like Ndiaye for this week. That's just me though. Is it good to take both Neto and Gakpo? Yes, I think on free hit, I want to say. Sorry, I had to think about that. Would you sell Sarr for Gibbs White / Barnes? Yes, I would. Both of them are decent options. Kelleher and Semenyo to Raya and Minta. Kelleher and Semenyo to Raya and Minta. Yes. Oh, no, I wouldn't. No. Not sell Semenyo. No chance. Sell one to get Bruno Fernandes. Cherki, Kudus, Enzo, and Ndiaye. Cherki. Stuck between bench and two of Voldemade, Dewsbury Hall, and Minta. I would bench Dewsbury Hall in that case. HI, would you sell Sarr for Gibbs White? Yes, I already answered. Sorry. Amara says, who to bench? Thiago, Anderson, or Richards? I would bench Thiago. Why bring Minta in this week instead of next? Villa could be a tough fixture. No. Yeah, but who would I play instead? I don't want to play Thiago. I actually think there is a decision here to make on whether or not to play Thiago over Richards. Start Thiago or Konsa. I would probably just play Konsa. Is Foden a must-have on free hit? No, definitely not a must. I would try to get Saka. By the way, 11 minutes 40 seconds until the end of the stream. I hope you're enjoying the stream, lads. Start two of Anderson, Kieran Dewsbury Hall, Thiago, or Trafford. I will start Anderson and Trafford. If you have a strong feeling he's going to score, then you have to start him. I can't go against your feeling. He's a man in form. Hi, Choi. Will you take out Sarr for a -4 or just play Thiago? I would just play Thiago. That's a 6-point gap, like. City leaks. We haven't got anything yet. Alright, let's do a little scroll on the timeline. Thank you for subscribing, Abinhav. If you aren't already subscribed, lads, do hit the like button and subscribe. Let's see if there's any leaks. I don't think we have. Again, I have people on it if for notifications, but I don't think we've gotten anything. Okay, nothing on the timeline. Doesn't look like we're going to get any leaks before the end. Again, we will be scrolling at around the 4-minute mark to see if we can get anything. Get your questions in. Pope to Verbergen. Sarr to Foden for a -4. Not worth it, no. I don't love that Hey Siri, personally. Sell Mateta or Voldemade to fund for Bruno? I would sell Mateta due to the fixture congestion and minutes risk. Voldemade I think looks good, man. He looks so good. Do you think Foden is reliable minutes? I think he's not bad. Evening Choi, I need your insight opinion. Good evening, ISO Magic. Good to see you. Best defender next to Timber and Minoz for free hit. I would go with Mitchell. Is Kuna nailed? When he's back fully fit, absolutely. One of their best players. Transferring Saba or Minta for Sarr? I would probably go Minta. Okay, I'm going to frantically refresh the timeline again. I want to see if we get anything. Should I propose to my girlfriend this week or not? Well, it depends, Rahul, if you love her or not. If you love her, then it's a no-brainer. If you don't, well... You're captain of Salah. I am ISO Magic. I'm feeling Salah this game week, personally. I think it's a good fixture after a rest. Captain Saka or Mbuemo? Probably Mbuemo for minutes. How against captaining Timber are you? Very much against captaining Timber. Good afternoon, says Marcus. Chow or Livermento as a Senesi replacement? Chow or Livermento? I'm going to say Chow. Minutes. Why is everyone avoiding Chelsea? I actually don't know. Spacine says Choi ... Yes, Spacine. Without any explanations, start Reinders over João Pedro. Yes. Two Palace defenders, Minoz and Mitchell. Yes. Captain Gakpo or Mbuemo? Neither, to be honest. There's such better captaincy options this week. Martin says, Evening Show, I need your insight. I have one free transfer at 0.4 in the bank. I want to sell Sarr. I also have Pedro and Thiago, whom I might bench either way. What do you think? Yeah, I don't mind bringing in Yankubum into this week. To be honest, playing Pedro is not the end of the world. Again, it really depends on how you see his minutes. Stealth says he thinks Gakpo is going to be rested. Really? Bench 1, Minta, Pedro, Thiago. Easily Thiago. You're thinking about doing triple captain Bruno? Not bad. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see Akatike, to be honest. It's only a matter of time. João Pedro or Anderson to start? I would start Pedro in that case. Salah's getting benched again, imagine. The scenes. 6 minutes until the deadline is up, lads. Again, do hit the like button and subscribe. I can't thank you enough for the support on this channel. Again, I'm going to go back to bring up my own channel because we are growing so fast and we've come a long way. So thank you to everyone in chat. Again, I appreciate it so much. And I'm hoping to get to 10k by the new year. I don't think it is possible, but we do have a lot of game weeks to come. How many deadline streams do we have until the end of the season? Let me see, or till the end of the year. We have game week 19, which will be the halfway mark, and we'll have a few videos coming by then. So we have, how many deadlines is that? So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 deadline streams, 5 transfer plans, and 5 team selections. 15 videos. 15 videos by 700. How many is that? 0.15 by... I can't do the maths in my head. About 70 a stream. Sorry, that maths is completely off. But anyway, 70 a vid / stream, very unrealistic, but maybe when the last 100 come, we might have a few flock in. Anyway, what I was doing is refreshing the timeline. I need one guaranteed Liverpool player from my midfield play. Let me go to FPL newsletter. Sorry, 1 second, guys. I want to see if we get any team news. Omar says, Doku benched. Where have you seen that? Because I've not quite seen that anywhere. Let me know. 46.66. Thank you. That's actually that's achievable. 46.66 per vid. I'm captaining Bruno Fernandes, says FPL Chicken. I love it personally. Bench Thiago or Kuna? I'll be benching Thiago all day. All day. O'Reilly or Chow? O'Reilly this week. Well, as long as you think he's going to start. Foden or Gakpo? Gakpo. Omar, I'm not seeing this this leak, so I'm not going to take it for what it is until... Again, I'm going to refresh the timeline frantically in case we do get anything. But 4 minutes until the deadline is up, lads. I'm going to finish up in the 4-minute mark. You know what? I'm kind of feeling generous. Will we give away 5 more channel members for the remainder of the stream? Actually, no. I'm going to need to answer your questions. I'm actually going to hold it for the next stream. Renatus says, Bruno triple captain seems tasty. You might indulge in that. I like it. I do like it, but I don't love it more than a Salah triple captain this game week. Those are the types of triple captains that could catapult you astronomically into top 100k. Because no one owns them. No. No more W's in chat. No. I see you guys. You hungry subscribers. Balls have crumbled already. I'm back on nah, FPL Chicken, come on. For me, I can understand the Bruno one. Again, lads, sorry, I know I'm spamming the Twitter, but I just want to make sure to see if we get anything. Great stream as always. PS Neto is in. Nice one, Davis, and thank you for joining me for another stream. It's been very, very enjoyable, lads. I do love the midweek deadlines, and I wonder, do we have another one next game week? Let me just quickly check. Do we have another one next game week? Game week 14, which is now game week 15, is Saturday, and game week... No, we don't. We actually don't have one until game week 19, which is interesting, the 30th of December. It'll be all festive and going into the new year, so we'll be looking forward to that, of course. So, again, I'm going to refresh the timeline one more time. Thank you for subscribing, Nestle. I don't think we're going to get anything on Team Leaks. I don't know if that will affect too many people anyway, but... To recap, I've brought in Yankuba Minta. I'm very happy with my team going into this game week. I think unless Salah does well this week, I will not be seeing a green arrow because I'm actually a slight bit concerned on my defence. I don't think it looks too well. But other than that, very, very happy with my team this game week, and I'll be looking forward to Saturday's stream. We will have a transfer plans and a team selection recorded for you at some point. I'm hoping on Wednesday we have the transfer plans. On Thursday or Friday we'll have the team selection, and a deadline stream on Saturday as usual. But for now, I'm very happy with my team. And let's do a few W chats in chat, because again, you guys have been so good at keeping me busy. Sorry, I didn't mean to put in my rank. Keeping me busy reading chat. So I do appreciate you guys, and this channel could be nothing without you guys. Best of luck though this game week, and I hope you get the green arrows. I am really, really looking forward to it. One thing that I'm not looking forward to is Spurs in the next hour or two. So do let me know in chat. Leave a comment on my videos on who you went with captain this week. I am intrigued, and let me know how the green arrows are going for you midweek or later down the line. And thank you for subscribing, Christopher. Anyway, lads, the deadline is just past. I'm actually going to leave it there, and as usual, I will see you in the next.